say this. But so Ryan asked 3 questions. One was a 2-part about the release, rotation, and the bump.
Yeah.
The mystical bump. And then question 2 was, what does the long arm mean? And is my arm long enough? And am I flexible enough?
Yeah.
And then the 3rd question is, what are some low impact drills that I can do with sequence to help my sequence and muscle memory?
Yeah.
So 3 good questions. And very nerdy physics answers, but I'll try to keep it simple.
I like that.
So the first one is the rotation. So your like proper throwing mechanics makes the javelin spin.
Right.
So for a finish grip, your middle finger is the last thing on the grip. You pronate through release, right? So we're here, thumb down. That makes the javelin rotate clockwise as we go through the release.
Right.
It happens, right? So in the same American grip, your pointer, fork grip, you know, it's the inside of this.
So you still need to pronate.
Yeah, you're still pronating.
Yeah.
So people have thrown 90 meters with the fork grip, like, no, there's a lot of crap out there telling you a grip is better than the other. Like, if you throw right, it will rotate. And then the faster it rotates, that's just physics. You know, that's why they have knurls on bullets and rifle barrels.
Yep.
Because it's called the rifling effect, right? It's like angular momentum creates stability. So the faster it spins, the less it wants to move around. So if you throw an air ball in the wind, then the wind will kill it. So that's why when people have a nice clean release, even to a side wind, the javelin goes straight, right? So it does give you stability, but it's not something that you should think about, right?
Okay.
I probably made it most of my career without knowing that.
I just remember I
yeah.
heard one person say like,
Yeah.
the faster the javelin spins, like the better it's gonna fly
Yeah.
and get lift. So I was like, oh, I gotta really like.
Yes, so unnecessary. And that's kind of, your questions get at things that are popularized by people trying to say cool stuff.
Right, and so that's like that,
Yeah.
because I totally have never felt like people were like, oh, you gotta feel like the spiral.
Yeah,
Like, I've
spiraling,
never felt
yes.
that.
Right, well, that's
that's
just,
not-
you're focus on your release mechanics
Uh-huh.
and just the basics, and then that happens. That's a result.
Okay, but then is that
Yeah.
related to like, I feel like I see guys coming to throw and it's off center, and then when they come through, they end up kind of like pulling it
No,
back
yeah,
down to
that's what they
center.
call the crossbody release.
And you
This
don't
is
want
all
that?
bullshit. No, that just happens. Like, so again, that's not what you need to think.
It's not forced.
It's not forced, right? So you come in and we're just trying to throw the javelin clean.
Right.
And obviously everyone who's gonna throw a javelin is gonna do this. I've never seen anyone throw the javelin like that.
Yeah.
So again, it's just details. Your mind can only think about so many things, and that's not one of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then the bump. So the bump is cool. Again, I went most of my career without having been explained what the bump is.
Uh-huh.
The bump, like the way you can see it, is when people hit the block, maybe 1 or 2 frames after the block, it's like an upside down smile, right? If you look at some good throwers, that just means, I think we've talked about it, you get pressure into the javelin early.
Mhm.
So you need to be prepared mentally and physically to hit the block and do work. So I'm here and I'm fighting. If you come in and you're like, your posture's bad, your butt's back, then you're gonna have late effort, and then you're not bumping it, you're yanking it.
Right.
So just having proper throwing sequence gives you the bump.
Okay.
So again, it's not something that you need to
So,
think
like,
about
yeah.
specifically. You just think about come in, hit the block, and then be ready, because it's immediate pressure.
Uh-huh.
It's not waiting till I get comfortable and then pulling it.
Yeah. Like you were saying yesterday, like these are reactions
Yes,
and
yeah.
not actions.
Yeah, yeah. The bump is super cool
Yeah.
because it's like the javelin is bent and then it uncoils, and then by the time I get to my release point, it's like kind of jumping out of your hand.
Mhm.
But this is all a result of having good technique. It's not like something magic that you need to try to do.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and then this next one, long arm, I love this question because this is even more physics. So keeping it very simple, like long pull. So power, right? We're all trying to have power. Power is the rate at which work is done. For sports, power is force times distance. So you want to put the most force over the most distance in the slowest amount of time. So for every athlete, it will be different, right? So if you have like a long pull and you can't put a lot of force into that pull and it takes you a long time, that's not a lot of power. So you might have a shorter pull over a shorter pull with more force over a shorter time, and that's more power. So every athlete is a little bit different, but the fundamental is I land on my back foot and my hand is over my back foot when I hit block. So that's good enough, right? And you want to have your arm as long as possible, like straight as possible there. So, boom, hand over foot, and then this is as long as I can go, and that's physics. I'm trying to build torque. I want to have more mass away from my axis of rotation. So if I'm rotating around my left side here, I want to have more mass so that I can turn and keep my hand here, like we talked about the big fat arms. But then, like, as you go through the release, I'm no longer like just rotating around this. Now I'm rotating around this, like my humerus.
Yeah.
So I want more mass around this axis, away from this axis. So that's where my arm does bend, right? So when I'm in max pressure, my arm is at 90.
Right.
Just like every baseball player, every javelin thrower, arms at 90 when you go to release. You don't throw it like this. You don't want to hit at 90 because then I don't have a lot of mass to build torque. But as I go through into the power position, my arm gets to about 90, and then it straightens at release. This is all reaction. This arm is just mindless leather. So, but that's like the basics. And then for you,
So just so I get this clear, you said it's the length of, like, it's the force over the length, and you want that in the shortest amount of time.
Force times distance, force. So if you to have the most power, it's big force pulled for a long distance in a really short amount of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So-
again, you don't really think about that. You just have practices where you try to throw clean and throw like far with not a lot of effort.
How does that fall into place? Because I see, like, some of the, like, Yu Hao, the guy who really far, and then also I saw it recently with the Chinese girl.
Yeah.
Like, they almost get this, like, re-wrap where they're, like, throwing their arm back.
Yeah, again, that's
Yeah,
style.
it's
That's
almost like-
that's style. Yeah.
It's
So
style.
it's not like, again, like so you want to hit with your shoulders closed and your hips going into the block. So some people, like Zalesny, they have their hand here and they go right into it and they get scap load. So now I have tons of torque around this axis. My scap is pushing into my spine. Some people come here and then they
Throw it back.
re-wrap, which is, I don't know, that's like a style. Some people do it. I'm not going to coach you to do it.
Right.
Yeah, so again, useless detail. Like, just focus on your own throwing the javelin clean with what you can do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
And then mobility, like, there's a couple tests. This thing, if you can do this shoulder width apart, then you're probably good enough.
Yeah.
And then, are you mobile enough? Like, if you can throw the javelin clean and it doesn't hurt, you're mobile enough. Do you want to get better? Then get more mobile. Like, I don't think, unless you're hurting yourself or you start to get to a point where people are looking at you when you're stretching and saying, like, you're disgusting, then you probably can keep working at it.
Is there a point where mobility is, like, exceeding? Because I think there's this level of tension that you still want to have in your muscles to be able to pull against.
Yeah, that's where you have to, it's personal. So some people can be very mobile and still very strong, but some people you have to work so hard to get that mobility that you, like, you're kind of losing that your personal tension.
Right.
So it's a case by case basis. But like, if you have a good coach that can look at your technique, then it's like, mobility isn't the only thing you need to focus on in most cases.
Right.
If there's some extreme range of motion that you can't hit, or some like extreme problem, then you might have to focus more. But I don't think that's your case.
Yeah.
And then the last one, are you good to go on to the next one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this is making sense.
So then the last one is drills. So I think the best way to learn is throw. So the best drill is a medicine ball throw, an easy javelin throw where I can feel the sequence, feel the pressure, and then see, wow, that went farther than it went when I did something different. So that's where for you, if your problem is, okay, I need to be able to set my hips up into the block without like loading or without getting my butt back, then low impact things would be medicine ball, shot put style medicine ball drills. Then you can do walking drills or kind of static type things, and that's just to feel the stretch, feel the pressure, build some balance, some like some proprioception. But it's hard to have a lot of takeaway from that. Not a lot of people do a drill and then go do a full approach throw and it just clicks.
Yeah, to me that's more just like the reps that can just install that muscle memory. Like I was thinking of the thing we did on Monday Whereas just here, and then you go into your block and
Yeah.
trying to like keep the neutral spot
Yes,
and
yes.
don't worry about anything else.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah,
Like-
so exactly, javelin running, positional drills, those are really good for you to be able to do it over and over and over again and feel that posture. But then more likely than not, if your go-to is when I throw something to load, then you're gonna do that.
So we just gotta
So you gotta have good posture and then do it with the medicine ball. And then good posture and do it from like an easy 7.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
Nice. Cool, thanks.